Okay, so welcome back. So we left off at a couple of commands on Git that what we had done. So we just added Git status and we created one file and we added that file to the Git. We started tracking basically we started tracking that file, right? Okay. Now what we are going to do, we are going to um, see. Okay, there are few commands which you can work around with. Say for example, if you have more files, not just one, if you have more files and if you want to add all the files, what you can do is you can have add all. Okay, so that will add all of the files to your tracking environment. Say for example, if I have created another file, okay, I have created another file, test1, right? So what I can do is I can just add git add a hyphen a. This is going to add all the files to the tracked one. It will start adding all the files to the git status. Okay, so you will have these two files getting tracked, test.txt also and test1.txt also, right? Now what it is telling you that you require to commit those changes. We will commit these changes. To commit means it will put these changes to the repository, repository 9to cloud, right? So let's see how we can do that. Now if I have hyphen m means you can put a comment on, first commit. This is your first commit. So what comment do you want to add? So we'll just say adding some test files, adding some test files, right? So what it's going to do, okay, so this is giving you that this is telling you that you cannot do that just yet. You cannot commit because git doesn't know who you are and where do you want to commit, right? So this is where we want to add these commands. It's telling you here. So what you will do, you will put here as your username and password of your GitHub account. Okay, so here I'll go ahead and I'll add my email address. Okay, and then I'll add my username. Right, once done, try to put a commit again. So what it is doing, it is trying to add some test files. Two files has been changed and two insertions has been done. Please understand that commit doesn't mean that your code or your test.txt is added, is put in your remote location, right? So that has not happened yet. We will have to push this staging environment to the origin. Okay, so for that we will move ahead. We will see how that can be done, right? There is one more command which is known as git log command. Now this is a very important command, or so say for example, you are working on a set of file. Say you are working on line number 100 and your colleague is working on the same file and he is working on line number 200. Okay, and you both are trying to commit to a repository, to a SharePoint, to any other place, to a GitHub account or a GitLab, right? So you both are working on the same file. How would anyone know that on what time the file has been updated? So the git log is going to tell you who has updated the file and at what time. So this will help you to keep the track of the latest code or latest set of file, so you can work on the same set of file. You can maybe later on come back, take the file from the GitHub or GitLab, and then start working on it and then push it back. So in this way your file always remains the latest one, and it's always updated by as many people as your colleagues, your group of people who are working on the same file. They can easily work on it. There are no conflicts. Right, now what do we want to do? We want to have some remote repositories. Okay, so we will try to push the local repository to the GitHub server. For this we need a remote repository. Now you need a remote repository and a repository URL so that you can push this particular staging environment. This is the one which we have created over here locally. So we want to push this particular repository to the remote location. So for this, what you want to do, you want to create a repository. So you'll come to the GitHub, you'll create a repository. For now, let's just understand, for the understanding point of view, we will name the repository also the same. We will not change it or keep it something else. 9to cloud. Okay, just the same one, and then we'll say create repository. So this will give us a repository URL. That is the one which we need. This is the one. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this to the clipboard. I've copied this. This is what I want. Okay, now what does it say? Git remote add origin. This is the command which tells the git, your local git, that it wants to add an origin. Origin is the one which is where you want to push your code or your set of files. Okay, so it is telling the git that, boss, I need to add this particular place which is known as origin, where I will be pushing all my code. Okay, in the end, so we'll do what? Git remote add origin, origin being this. Hit enter. Okay, now you are safe to say that I can push origin and master. Now understand what this is saying. This is saying that I want to push to the origin my master. What is my master? Master is this 9 to cloud which you have created locally, okay, and you want to push that local repository to your origin, and origin is always this particular link. This is the particular link which is the origin. This is going to come over here. So as soon as I hit enter, you will see the change. You will understand it yourself. Okay, you have to put your username and you have to put your password. So it is trying to compress some objects, it is trying to create a branch, and it is trying to push from the master branch to the origin. Now let's come back over here. This is the one, right? This is our repository. Let's refresh it. So what do we have here? What do we have here? We have test.txt and test1.txt. So these are the files that we had created in our local environment, and you can see adding some test files is the comment that we had put, so that we would understand, okay, so this is the commit that we had created. In that commit we had these comments, and these are the files, right? So this is how you can push your codes remotely to your from your local places, your local machine, your local laptop, or you're in your work environment, you're working locally, you can push the final codes to your GitHub account or GitLab. You can do the similar set of practices in the GitLab also, using the same set of commands. Right now, okay, so let's move ahead to the next video, where we will see how we can pull the codes remotely and how we can check the differences, and few more commands which will be helpful for us here and there to make us work on Git fluently without any without putting much of an effort. So we'll see you in the next video.